gosh, how am I gonna say this? Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing okay and everyone is doing well. Before we get started, I just want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. Whether you spent it alone, with your partner, with family, with friends, Valentine, whatever to sit you, I just want you to know that you are loved, you are valued, you are appreciated, and you are very special. And this is my happy Valentine's Day to you. And if anything, God loves you. And when you really think about it, God's love is the only love that really matters. So just know that Sarah Destiny loves you, but God loves you even more. But yeah, I hope you had an amazing Valentine's Day. If you were in Sunday's live, you would have known that I did say that this video was actually going to go live tomorrow, but I decided that, you know what, no, I don't want to be recording Love Island tomorrow on the weekend, so you know, let me just relax, let's just relax, let's get this video out for bye. So that's exactly what we're doing. So as I usually always say, number one, if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and definitely join the family. Also be sure to follow me on my Instagram and also on my Twitter, and guys, also on my TikTok. Oh my days, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. That's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say. If you know, you've seen a certain video of me on TikTok that is currently trending. No guys, I actually can't believe it. Anyway, it's fine. It doesn't matter, okay? But yeah, definitely be sure to follow me on my Instagram, my Twitter, and also on my TikTok. And as I usually and always say, please get cozy and comfy with a nice drink, some snacks, preferably a hot Ribena. And let's get into today's review. So if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I feel like if there was going to be 1 week where I was actually able to do a full review for the week, I think it would have been this one. Not just because it's our last week, of course, but two, I feel like it was quite an okay week. Monday, Tuesday, not so much. Wednesday, Thursday, I was definitely awake. So let's start off with Harriet, of course, you guys know, telling Casey to shut the F up, and that whole situation, you know, she tried to apologize to him and actually have a conversation about it. And her reasoning, first things first, I have already said this in some of my other reviews, I don't tell people to shut up anyway, because I just think it's quite rude. But then to add the F, come on guys, where are your manners? Where's everyone's, how can you tell someone to shut the F up? Do you know how much vim is in shut the F up? I really think shut up is too much. Talk less of the F. It's a lot. But one thing I would say is that I did find Harriet's response with the apology interesting at first. It was an apology half and half, because we know something else will happening later on. But she was saying, you know, like at the end of the day, I thought we were brothers, or not brothers, I thought we were like siblings here, you know, like just friends that are like brothers and sisters. And it's interesting because since this season has started, I have never got that vibe from Harriet and Casey together. And it was interesting because on one side of things, I do understand that Harriet had her own opinion, because mind you, it's an opinion. And I also know that Casey had an opinion, because granted, he had to say what he had to say in the challenge. But I will say this, that I do believe that Casey and also Luca, let me just drag him into this as well, a lot of the time they dish things out and they don't know how to take it back. Also, a last thing that I also wrote down as well is that when what was it, when Grace told Omar to shut the F up, which was there wasn't this much outrage. Do you know what I mean? So interesting. Okay, very interesting. I did also note down that I did love the fact that Ronnie was backing Harriet all the way, because in all honesty, that's exactly how your man should be. Even if I'm in the wrong, whether wrong, right, left, up, whatever it is, okay, whatever the situation, up, down, whatever, your man should support you. And I do have to rate Ronnie for honestly supporting Harriet, even when she should be in the wrong. Of course, quickly moving on to Chugs and Tina. Is it Chugs or Chugs? Because you guys corrected me in the live and I don't know if I remember. Is it Chugs? No, it's Chugs. It's Chugs, and I keep saying Chugs. I'm Nigerian, what can I say? But it's Chugs, okay? Chugs and Tina, that conversation was, you know, foreshadowing their departure, if I'm going to be honest with you, because they were just like, oh, can you imagine that in that game? They voted us for most boring and most this, and like, honestly, I think it's given a cop-out because they just didn't know what guys, it's not a cop-out. The call is coming from inside the house. You guys are boring. I'm so sorry. They're boring. I've had this conversation with you guys numerous times. I don't get, like, I could watch paint dry, okay? It was just so interesting because even Chugs then went on to say like, oh, do you think they voted that way because of the consequences of the game? No. They voted that way because those were the answers, okay? That was the honest truth. So it's okay to be self-aware sometimes. You should know yourself that you and Tina ain't given. Of course, we knew at night time, My Drama came in and was asking everyone how they were doing individually. Of course, we knew that Harriet and Ronnie were saved. Ekin-su and Curtis were saved, and Tina and Chugs were dumped from the island. Like I said, no surprise there. When they did have their conversation with Maya Jama at the end, they were saying, oh, you know, this and this, and, you know, maybe this happened and that happened. But the truth of the matter is Tina has very much friend zoned that entire situation, and there is going to be no developments there. Cool. Now let's move on to Tuesday's episode. So let's start off with the aftermath of the votes. Now what was so interesting was everyone was acting really shocked at Tina and Chugs being dumped from the villa, from the Love Island anyway. Very surprising. There's no way you guys possibly thought that Harriet and Ronnie and Ekin-su and Curtis will be dumped before Tina and Chugs. Come on, guys. Let's be so serious. Who did you guys want to go home? I do feel like the episode and the season is wrapping up really quickly, but I feel like Tina and Chugs were the right couple to be sent home. I didn't understand why people were scratching their heads about it. Moving on to the following morning. So I was initially laughing, I can't lie, because obviously Curtis was speaking to Luca about how he feels like, you know, Ekin-su's been really down and actually I want to make her breakfast. But the lights had literally just turned on and Curtis was just yapping, and Luca was literally falling asleep while Curtis was speaking. And I hear it because someone like me as well, I do not like it when people speak to me first thing in the morning. Hello, I'm still defrosting here and you're just having bucket loads of conversations in my presence. So that's actually quite funny. But they did decide to make breakfast for both of their ladies. And I can't lie, guys, that breakfast probably was one of the biggest breakfasts with an S, Sarah, that we've seen on Love Island. They had sausages, they had bacon, avocado, egg, toast, fruits, blueberries. I said, wow. Talk about love. Okay, talk about love. Of course, you know that they ended up getting a text that it was time to find out what the public thought of them. So each islander was going to be given the opportunity to ask the public 2 questions, and then the public would vote on, apparently the public voted on Instagram. I obviously didn't watch it live, but I believe it was on Instagram. And I won't lie, I think that was quite a nice touch to this season, if I'll be honest with you. I do feel like sometimes Love Island producers get carried away with just making everything for the islanders, but I think it's good when they actually do get the public involved, aside from the generic who do you think should be dumped from the villa. So of course at night time they all sat around the table, they had a cheeky steak. I won't lie, guys, the budget was definitely budgeting. They had steak, I think there was chips, I think I saw onion rings, I saw some beans, you know, some green beans, I had some ketchup. I said, wow, what a good day to eat. I would say though, that food was definitely cold. Okay, that food was definitely cold. But of course, we ended up getting the answers to some of their messages, and it was also read out. So let's start off with Gabby and Casey. The question that they asked the public was, do you think we'll work on the outside? And it was yes 57% and no 43%. That's not really great. I think it was Elma was just like, that's good, you know, that's almost 50-50. But it's not 50-50, is it? So interesting. Of course, the second question was Grace and Luca, and they asked the public, have we handled situations well as a couple in the villa? Yes 57% and no 43%. The third was for Catherine and Omar, and the question that they asked the public was if they were compatible. They received yes 70% and no 30%. And you know what? I still stand and I still love. And can I just quickly throw this in there whilst I'm actually talking about Catherine and Omar? They are clearly making such huge strides in their connection, and do you see that? Because I don't see that. Maybe at night time we see them having a little hug in the background or something else, but I don't know, when they're not giving Catherine and Omar much camera time, and I fear that could sabotage their spot in the final, because people only like to vote for people that they see. Even like right now, as I'm talking, right now, the main couples that people are speaking about is Harriet and Ronnie and Ekin-su and Curtis, who I believe will make it to the final. But we don't see much of Catherine and Omar, and I need the producers to work on that. The next question obviously was for Sammy and Elma, and they asked the public, does Elma like Sammy more than he does? And the answer that they got, sorry, I don't know why my mind went blank, I'm literally reading notes. The answer that they got was yes 53% and no 47%. No surprise, I definitely feel like Elma does like Sammy more. I have words for Elma in today's episode review, guys. I'm not even gonna lie to you, I have words. But we'll get into that when we get there. The next question was for Harriet and Ronnie, and the question was, is it right that they gave their relationship or situation a second go? Yes 70% and no 30%. You guys already know how I feel about Harriet and Ronnie. I'm glad that they rekindled, but I just feel like they both knew they were coming on Love Island. If you guys just saw each other in December, or your last point of communication was in December, and then Love Island All-Star started 2 weeks later in January, it's given Anyway, and then, because you guys know, they were able to ask each other 2 questions, right? So the first question was to the public. The second question was about another couple. But this question was actually going to be revealed. And I said, gasp! We love it. We really do. So, of course, Catherine and Omar, their question was, do you agree, for the public, that Casey is here for clout? You know, for clout. That Casey's here for clout. Instantly, Casey's just like, what? What? I don't know why you asked that question. I just don't understand. And one thing I love about Omar is Omar stands on business, guys. I don't know if you guys have picked up on this, but anytime there's been a challenge, Omar literally stands on business every time. He's just like, it's almost like, oh, I don't know. Okay, but I said it. Oh, but I don't really. Okay, but it was my opinion and it was a challenge and I had to pick someone. Catherine was now trying to explain herself. And Casey, what did he say over her? What did he say again? Did I write it down? I don't remember. But what I do remember is that he spoke over her. I was thinking, I know that ain't who I think it is. Casey. Because the real question is why do you have a Love Island career 3 times? Even he said it. This is the best day of my Love Island career. I've never heard anyone say that they've had a Love Island career. So it's interesting. I don't know. I just feel like it's interesting that you think about finding love and you think Love Island is a show for you to find love. If it's your first time, cool, that's fair. But it's your third, like, I don't know, Casey. Anyway, the answer was yes, 44%, and the answer for no was 66%. So at least we know it's been put to bed and we don't need to bring that up again. Now, the next was Gabby and Casey, and their question was, do you think Luca made the right choice picking Grace over Sammy? Yes was 52% and no was 48%. Of course, Luca was just like, oh yeah, well, I'm not just going to continue going for someone that's my type. Yeah, I may like brunettes, but that's not going to stop me from da-da-da-da. And can I be honest with you guys? I actually do like Grace and Luca together, but I think more so Grace, because Luca, to me, I feel like in some of these episodes, and I said this in some of my reviews already, I feel like in some of these episodes he's been glitching. Luca's been glitching a bit. So it makes you wonder if he's genuine or if the mask is slipping. It's a really good question. I guess we'll never know the answer. Now, moving on to Ekin-su and Curtis. Their question was, do you think Sammy is more suited to Luca than Grace? So the situation with Sammy and Grace, the whole thing keeps coming up. And the question answer was yes, 54%, and no, 46%. But he pretty much just had the same answer that he gave to Gabby and Casey, which is that he's happy with Grace and they have nothing to worry about. Now, Grace and Luca's question was, do you think that the age gap between Sammy and Elma will be an issue on the outside? And granted, I have already said this in my reviews as well. Yes, I know that love comes in different ages and shapes and sizes and colours and cultures and but they literally have, is it 9 years? I think it's 9 years that they have between them. That's a long time, okay? So in the villa, yes, we're in a bubble and everything, but outside could be quite interesting. And I have my thoughts on Sammy as well, but I'm going to tell you his singlet later. Just wait there. The answer for that was yes, 61%, and no, 39%. And of course, the last question was for Elma and Sammy. And guys, can I just say, this last question for Elma and Sammy, it was very much giving... For me, both Elma and Sammy need to be dumped. Let me know down below. I don't want to necessarily put this into 2 teams, but I'm going to just for the sake of this question. If you're team Elma and Sammy or if you're team Ekin-su and Curtis. Now, I wasn't, if you watch these reviews and you've watched my reviews, right, you will know that I wasn't even all that here for Ekin-su and Curtis. Initially, I was telling you guys, like, you know, it just seems a bit much. But because of the way Elma and Sammy are actually acting, because of the way they're acting, I need them to go. Actually, I genuinely need them to go. Do you think Curtis and Ekin are the weakest couple? How did we get here? How do we get? And I low-key, even when the question was read out, I did feel like it was still given that maybe Elma is still upset at the whole, you know, heart racing challenge with Ekin-su kissing Sammy and did the deal, whatever. Because even when we're going to get into it, which is in episode 3 and 4 of this week's review, which we'll get into very shortly, I feel like Elma, oh gosh, how am I going to say this? I feel like she has hidden animosity for Ekin-su and she doesn't know. Maybe she does know. I don't know. But obviously she was speaking and she was just like, oh, at the end of the day, yeah, that's just how I feel. And then Sammy started jumping in. When Sammy was jumping in, can I just say something? Sammy literally cheated his way to winning with Jess. Let's start there. If anyone's a fraud, it's Sammy. Okay? But no one wants to be picking up on these things. If anyone is fraudulent, it is Sammy because he cheated his way into the final. So with Elma like piping up and just like, oh, whatever, like that's what I thought. That's the only reason why, because obviously the situation, Danielle, why are we still speaking about Danielle? Why are we still speaking about Danielle, please? Your man is literally a fraud. Okay. Well, I was speaking about Danielle, but we'll get into it. Of course, the answer was yes, 34%, and then no, 64%. Obviously, she was just like, you see, that's why I asked the question. That's why I asked, because obviously you're happy, like you know what you've got Curtis, and like obviously now the public know too. Like, so obviously now Elma now ended up telling Curtis to F off, because Curtis was just like, I just find it a bit weird. Like, I told you that I like this girl, and you just want to keep bringing up old stuff, whatever. So Elma was just like, oh, Curtis, F off. Like, oh, I'm chilled, babe. Like, I'm chilled, because you know you tell people to like relax. She's like, I'm chilled. Like, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. Go make a coffee. Go make a coffee. And I personally, like, I know some people may find that quite entertaining. I just feel like it was really rude. I feel like she could have just said what she needed to say and put it to bed. But the way she was piping up and speaking back, and like I said, I really don't tell people to shut up. So when people say shut the F up, it's too much. I'm sorry, I just feel like it was too much. So I can't lie, I have already said it in some of my other reviews that I do find Elma quite annoying. Sorry guys, my camera just died. But I think I was speaking about Elma being annoying, and I still stand by that. So moving on to... Wait, what episode is that now? What episode are we on? We are on... Oh yeah, so we're now on Wednesday's episode. So starting off with the aftermath of the game, honestly, there was a lot going on. There was so many different conversations that were also taking place. And the first thing was Elma obviously ranting to Catherine and Sammy, talking about, oh, like Curtis, all he knows is make coffees. Coffee's by Curtis, that's what he should trademark, whatever. He's not even... And this is when I just felt like, you know what? I feel like that favourite girl vote just really got to her head. Curtis isn't even my cup of tea. He's not even my warm cup of piss. Like, who says things like that? I'm sorry. And yes, be yourself, but if that is yourself, I'm scared. Okay, I'm very scared. At the same time, Luca and Grace were having a conversation on the terrace, and they were speaking about being closed off outside. No, Luca was saying that he is also closed off outside. So essentially they are closed off but exclusive, but pre-girlfriend and boyfriend, whatever that means. But can I be honest with you? I feel like Grace and Luca are actually quite unproblematic for these past couple of days. They haven't bothered anyone. So shout out to them for making progress. Of course, we knew that ekin-su now ended up wanting to go and speak to Elma and Sammy. And then what was so funny was I just said, wow, ekin-su is back. ekin-su is back, guys, because in this scene, sis was just like, no one talks to my man like that. I'm coming over here to tell, like, it was given the ekin-su that we remember from Tikba. That's the ekin-su that it was given. And I absolutely loved it, because I felt like Elma genuinely needed to be whacked. I'm sorry. I feel like that favourite girl vote has seriously been getting to her head. Of course, Elma was like, but why didn't you bring this up at the table? And she was just like, because I was in shock. But now that I've thought about it, you actually irritated me. And now I'm going to tell you my feelings as to how I actually feel with the way you spoke. Elma now gets up and she now walks off. She's like, do me a favour. Do me a favour. I'm done. I'm this. I'm not apologising. So now she's getting rowdy. She's walking into the villa. At the same time, Samuel was still sitting there. Okay? Samuel was still sitting there. And ekin-su was just like, she needs to say sorry. You know, and Sammy's just like, well, she did say sorry. And she was like, no, that wasn't an apology. She needs to actually say sorry, because if I had spoken to her in a way, or you in a way like that, she would pull me up on it. So guess what? I'm not going to pull her up on it, because no one, okay? Nobody talks to my man like that. I said, okay, girl. Okay, girl, do your thing. Moving on to Elma now came back to where they were seated, right? So I was even thinking, okay, she's walking back. Interesting. At this point, Sammy now gets up and he walks with her. And then she now goes to speak with Catherine. Catherine ends up hugging her. Blah. Now, what do I say about that whole situation? Number one, Sammy and Elma genuinely need to go. Okay? I have been saying this for the past couple of episodes now. I think they're rude. I think they're quite annoying. I think Elma, I can't take to her character. That's just the reality. I can't take to her character, and that's fine. You know, not everyone is going to be a couple for Ribena, but I just can't take to her character well, and I feel like she's very, very, very rude. Also, on the back of that, I do want to speak about Catherine. I won't turn on Catherine, okay? I saw some tweets on my timeline. People were just like, get Catherine out the villa. I think Catherine has definitely tried to remain neutral amongst the different girls in the villa this season, but I just want her to dissociate herself from Elma, because every time Elma acts mad and you're there, People now want to attach Catherine to Elma's nonsense and her drama. And as you can see, Catherine is actually very chill in that villa. She only speaks rudely to you if you speak rudely to her. And even then, she's also cool, calm, and collected. So I just wish she dissociated herself away from Elma. Okay? I really do, because I don't want that to affect her chance of remaining in the villa. Now, of course, moving on to the following morning, the guys ended up getting a text that they were going to play paddleboards. And whilst the guys were away, the girls got a text that they were going to be having some video webcam conversations with their friends and family. So starting off with Gabby, of course got a call from her brother, and they were just speaking about Casey and how she's doing in the villa. Elma ended up speaking to her bestie, Amber Turner. If you know Amber, then you know. If you watched Howie, then you know. So the fact that they're besties is also quite telling. Elma was asking Amber about what she feels about everyone else's couple, which isn't really, that's very interesting, whatever. But I didn't like the fact that Amber was now speaking about, oh, like, you know, Ekin and Curtis, I just don't feel like they're genuine, and da-da-da-da-da. And obviously, like, everyone's thinking, like, yeah, Sammy's young, but honestly, you guys will look so good on the outside. You guys will work so well on the outside, da-da-da-da. Moving on to Catherine and Whitney. Lucky babes, hey, lucky babes, hey, lucky babes, hey, lucky babes. Guys, you know what? When you really think about Catherine and Whitney, you know, all of their seasons or whatever, guys, that was actually such a good season. And now that we're out of it, it's given, wow, we really didn't appreciate what we had in that moment. Do you know what I mean? That was such a good season. When I really deep it, like, they had such a good friendship, such a good sisterhood. Like, I think even just seeing Whitney on the screen, it just felt so refreshing. Like, it was just so, I love being black. The sisterhood, the melanin, Whitney looked absolutely gorgeous. Like, guys, honestly, I loved that interaction. I was definitely here for it. But of course, I do love the fact that Whitney was also saying, you know, when you were playing the game and you knelt down for Sammy, I was thinking, get to stand up. Okay, what is this one doing? But obviously they were speaking about how Lachlan really likes Omar and how she feels like Catherine has carried herself really well. But she did also mention that she wasn't feeling Casey, and also, you know, side-eye to Sammy, because you guys know Jess was obviously on their season, and Jess and them are friends, and Sammy done her dirty and blah, blah, blah. So I did love the fact that Whitney was honestly just being Whitney, but also just being there for Catherine was really cute. It was a really heartwarming interaction. I would say that. Now, moving on to Harriet, she obviously had a conversation with her bestie Saffron, and Saffron was just saying that her mum is really happy that her and Ronnie are back together, and that it seems that Ronnie has learned from his mistakes, and actually told her that what she actually said to Casey was, you know, because I think there was an argument in terms of Casey saying, Casey was saying that I didn't say shut the F up, or you did say shut the F up, and she was just like, no, I said shut your effing mouth, or just, you know, it didn't matter, it meant the same thing, right? But obviously Saffron did say, no, you did actually say XYZ, and Harriet felt so bad, and she was just like, oh my gosh, I need to apologize to Casey, I just need to. So I'm glad that that was cleared up. Grace, her dad ended up calling, and that was just so cute. That was really cute. Like, her dad was literally in like the office in the house, you know, glasses, like, you know, parents, honestly, God bless our parents, they're just the cutest. She asked about Luca, and he was saying, like, honestly, you've been so cool, calm, and connected since he's come into the picture, and I really love it for you, I really do. And last but not least, we had ekin-su. Ekin-su's brother was the one that was on the call. And of course, at the same time, just before ekin-su actually went in, Elma was telling the girls that obviously, yeah, Amber, yeah, it was Amber, yeah, she actually doesn't like ekin-su and Kaya, so I just thought, okay. Now let's move on to Thursday's episode, and then we'll be all caught up. So, starting off with at nighttime, of course, the aftermath of the conversations with the friends and also the family. The girls telling the guys what their friends and family said, and vice versa, and just conversations circulating that. Now, Gabby was, of course, talking to Casey, and was just like, yeah, Whitney told Catherine that she doesn't feel like me, like you're genuine, like me and you do. And Casey was like, Whitney? I don't even know Whitney. But can I just say, they don't know Whitney, right? But I love the fact that Whitney, even outside of her season, has such a presence that people actually know that they can't. Because even, I would say, the way Casey reacted was very demure in terms of not even trying to just give a little 1-2 cents about Whitney. He just made it, I don't even know Whitney, pish, bash, bosh, full stop, that was it. Because you know that if you were to come to Whitney, they would tear your singlet and sell it on eBay for 2p. You know that, right? Casey definitely knows that. Of course, I would also say that I also did wish that Catherine didn't, I wish none of them told them about what their family or friends said about any other couple other than the couple that they're in, but I guess it's just for the drama. Okay, I guess it's just for the drama. Now moving on to Elma and Ekin having a conversation about the situation at hand, because there's a lot of beef taking place currently. Of course, they had a small conversation, and then Curtis now ended up coming to pull Elma for a chat because he just wanted to speak to her based on how things have been. There's been tension in the villa. I don't want any drama or any issues with you, so let's have a conversation. Elma literally sat down for 0.000000000000000000001 second, okay, and she just said, I'm not apologizing, and got up and walked. And I just said, this woman is actually, I think she's 32. Is Elma 32? I think she's 32 or 33. The fact that she can't take hold of her emotions, worrying, and I'm not making it seem like, you know, people who are older can't be emotional. That's not what I'm saying. I just feel like Elma, she acts out as she feels in that very second. I don't feel like there's any thought processing. I don't think there's any pause, reflect, speak. It's literally just, this is how I feel, this is how I act, and you just have to deal with it. Because that could have easily been such a calm conversation. Even if you were angry, you guys could have had a very cordial conversation. Curtis went out of his way, even though he's the one that felt disrespected, he went out of his way to sit down and speak with you, to try and get an apology out of you, and you literally just say, I'm not apologizing, and get up. And I feel like it was quite immature. Let me know if you agree or you disagree, but I do feel like it was very, very, very immature. At the same time, Elma was now speaking to some of the other girls. Am I there yet? Hold on, I feel like I'm jumping. And she was just like, yeah, at the end of the day, what he done to Danielle. And I was just thinking, like, it's given that you weren't able to push the agenda for your hatred for Ekin, that now you're trying to lash onto Curtis. And I don't really understand that one, because your argument is the fact that Curtis done this to Danielle, Curtis done that, it's disingenuine, Sammy cheated his way into the final, let's start there. Harriet literally cheated on, Ronnie literally cheated on Harriet, let's start there. Casey literally cheated on all of his previous Love Island girls. So you now saying that Curtis had a test and he failed. Guys, I genuinely don't understand. Let me know if you agree or disagree down below, but I actually don't understand. Like, okay, cool, he done it to Danielle, okay, and? Like, why are you acting like that's the reason why you've been acting out with ekin-su and I don't feel like it's the reason. Okay, of course, at the same time, Catherine was now speaking to Grace and Gabby about a conversation that she had with ekin-su, when ekin-su was saying that she feels like Elma is deflecting and things like that. And then now, Catherine now went on to tell Elma that obviously, yeah, like Grace and Gabby, they had a conversation with me and they spoke to ekin-su, and ekin-su obviously said that, you know, she feels like you're deflecting, and Elma's just like, me, deflecting. And once again, I have to stand by, if I'm going to be honest, I have to stand by Catherine, because I know she doesn't have that much support, and already people in the black community are already just throwing their stones. But I need that friendship to end immediately. I need it to end, because as long as she associates herself with Elma, people are going to try their nonsense. I already saw some think pieces of people saying, oh, Catherine's just like Elma. Catherine is not like Elma, guys. Don't be saying that, because we know that's not true. Following morning, the girls were speaking, and once again, Elma was speaking to Catherine and also Gabby, saying, ekin-su, no, guys, ekin-su has never been the problem. That is a lie. That is a lie. You said that ekin-su was the problem when she kissed Sammy. So now ekin-su is no longer the problem, and now it's Curtis. It's him. I've never had an issue with Ekin. It's Curtis. How did we get here? Where, when, how, at what time? When did we actually get here? Elma? I don't know. It's just not making sense. You don't have an issue with any other guy but Curtis because of Danielle, who wasn't even your bestie. It's not making sense, okay? It's not making sense. Of course, you know, they ended up getting a text that it was time for the talent show. I'm going to quickly go through them. Should we go through all of them? Yeah, let's go through all of them. Why not? We have the time. So starting off with Harriet. Harriet was a cheerleader. Omar was a cowboy balloon man. And he's actually quite talented. I did feel like the heart that he made for Catherine was really cute. So that was quite nice. But once again, we're not getting much screen time, so how are we supposed to know? Producers, how are we supposed to know? Of course, Gabby came doing her little tap dance. I said, yes, girl, tappity tap tap. Sammy came giving headstands and also juggling. Elma came with her violin. Guys, I'm actually screaming because going back and watch that episode, I genuinely thought, oh, my hair's messed up. Don't know why. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I genuinely thought that Elma was playing Amazing Grace. It started off like it was Amazing Grace. I don't care, but it ended on Grace Amazing because it was not Amazing Grace. Of course, Catherine came as a cake decorator. Luca came singing off key. Ronnie came as a footballer. You guys know Ronnie plays semi-pro. I think he does. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Something along those lines, Sha. I said, all right then. Let's go there with the dribbles, eh? Curtis came doing dancing, and guys, Curtis was actually, it was really good. I don't know why some of the islanders were laughing. I feel like Curtis is actually really talented, like, and I love the fact that he dances, and he dances so confidently. You know, some people, they may have a little 1-2 and they'll be moving shy. Curtis said, what do you want, the salsa? What do you want, R&B? Like, Curtis was literally going in. I absolutely loved it, okay? I really loved it. We know that Grace came as a gymnast. I said, you go, girl. She looks really cute, I won't lie. Casey came with his puppet called Salty. Now, how did I find that interaction interesting? I do feel like there was a lot of truth to the conversations that he was saying. So essentially he was breaking down every couple through his puppet, yet we could see his mouth moving at the same time along with his puppet. I do feel like there was a lot of truth to the things that he was saying. It wasn't just for bants. And last but not least, we had Ekin-su, who came playing her piano. She looks gorgeous, by the way, tanned. She's definitely tanned because she's looking rich. The red lip, the black and the, she looks good, okay? Ekin-su looks really good. And she played the keys for us, and she sounded absolutely amazing. And I just thought, almost probably thinking, darn, she plays an instrument too, because that's the vibe you're giving, girl. It's giving fair love. Okay, it's giving fair love. Of course, you know, they ended up getting a text to decide who the winner of the challenge was going to be, and in all honesty, it was a no-brainer for me. Curtis and Ekin-su, a very talented couple, absolutely loved it. Of course, they also ended up getting another text that the hideaway was open, and because that they had won, of course, Curtis and Ekin-su were going to spend the night in the hideaway. And then it ended on us, aka the public, voting on for their favorite couple. I obviously missed the vote, unfortunately, but no, I didn't actually. I did vote for this one. Yes, I did. Did I? I did. Yes, I did vote. To vote for your favourite couple, and those with the least votes will be risked being dumped from the island. And I, of course, voted for Catherine and Omar because you guys don't be giving them enough screen time, and clearly there is a really good connection there. So yeah, guys, we are all up to date and all caught up. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I shall stop recording now, and then I will see you for the finale episode for this week later on, literally in the next clip, which will be after the episode is aired. So yeah, see ya. Hey guys, so we are back. Quickly rush through this review and then get going. So of course, you know that they ended up starting with a text that the girls received that they were going to go on a girls' day, aka their Galentine's. Essentially all they did was go to the shops, get some bits and bobs, food, flowers, etc, etc. Before going, Elma did say though that she has never had a Valentine's even when she's been in a relationship with her boyfriends. So that was quite interesting, because why do some men hate you? I don't understand. And that's not, I'm not talking about in Elma in general. I mean people who are actually in relationships. Why do some men hate them so much? Because yeah. But anyway, yeah, so they ended up going to the supermarket. Whilst they were out, the boys also ended up getting a text that now it was time for them to have their conversations with their loved ones who were back home. So starting off with Curtis, Curtis's brother joined him, and I can't lie, he is literally Curtis's twin. But I don't know if you got the vibe. I was getting really good vibes from him. I thought like, yeah, I was getting good vibes from him. I can't lie. But he did say that his mum really loves Ekin-su. She's strong, she's independent, she's bold, she's vibrant. And he also, I won't lie, I feel like, I think his name was TJ. Was it TJ? I think it was TJ. But TJ was giving good vibes. He genuinely was giving good vibes. But he did tell him as well that he needs to cleanse himself of the negative energy. My stomach is rumbling. But he needs to cleanse himself of the negative energy and pretty much just focus on him and Ekin-su, which was really good advice. Next was Omar's cousin, Patricia, and her dog. I think the dog's name was Chili. I don't know why I remember that, but the dog's name was Chili. She said that, of course, Omar and Catherine complement each other really well, and that Catherine has brought out a really good light in him, and he has also brought out a really good light in her as well. And then of course Omar ended up asking, you know, who don't you think is going to last outside of this villa? And she did say Luca and Grace, because she feels like Luca is, he knows for a fact that Grace is very strict, and if he turns left like this without her even budging her eye, he's going to be in trouble. So that was actually quite interesting. Of course, you knew he ended up telling, no, he also told Patricia that he wanted to make things exclusive with Catherine, or that they were pretty much exclusive. And then when he left the conversation, he ended up telling Luca. Luca looked, he tried to look like he wasn't bothered. I know for a fact he was, but like I said, I feel like that guy's glitching this season. I don't know. We know Sammy's best friend, I forgot the name. Was it Tommy? I don't know if it was Tommy or Tony. It started with a Tisha. But he was obviously telling him that, oh my gosh, like Sammy, you've grown up so much since your season. And also told him that he should focus on him and Elma and squash the beef that he has with Curtis and Ekin-su. To be honest, I feel like Sammy, from that conversation, it was given Samuel was just, you know, oh, like I've grown so much from my season, whatever. So there could be growth there, but I'm just not here for Sammy and Elma regardless. So to be honest, am I not here for Sammy and Elma? Maybe it's Elma I'm not here for. And unfortunately, by default, that also includes Sammy. Moving on to Casey. So Casey obviously ended up speaking to Molly and Tom. I even forgot that they won Love Island All-Stars. Yeah, they won Love Island All-Stars, didn't they? Yeah, they did. They won something shared together. Was it All-Stars? I think it was All-Stars. Anyway, they were, I didn't know they were that close. Actually, I did know. Why am I saying that? I did know Tom and Casey were close. I didn't know Casey was also that close to Molly. So that was also quite interesting. And good for them. They're still together, thriving, smiling. Teeth were as white as Colgate white can be. What was so funny for me was Casey now went to go and ask Tom and Molly, oh, like, who do you think's not going to make it to the final? Bro, the call is actually coming from inside the house, because who told you that you and Gabby were making it to the final? Unfortunately, we now know that they are, which we're going to get into later, but it was just the fact that he just automatically assumes. Baby, don't assume, okay? Don't assume. But of course, anything else I want to discuss from that? Oh yeah, they said Ekin or Curtis or Sammy and Elma, who they think were the couples who wouldn't make it to the final. Now, next was Ronnie. Ronnie obviously got a call from Olivia Atwood and her husband Bradley. She looks really different. I can't explain it. I feel like yeah, she does look different. I can't lie, but a good conversation there, I won't lie. But Ronnie was saying that, you know, he really, really, really likes Harriet. And then, you know, Olivia was just like, yeah, like, you know, the rekindling, like, you guys are great. And then Ronnie was letting them know that he plans to make her his girlfriend. Last but not least, we had Luca's sister. She was pretty, very pretty babe. The hand on the cheek, I didn't understand that one for the whole, you know, for the whole conversation. But of course, like, Luca did say in the beginning, you know, oh my gosh, I'm shocked it's you. You never show your face. And apparently she's not even on the grid, like, social media. Like, you only know her if you know her. So maybe that's why. Maybe she has some insecurities. I saw some people saying on Twitter. But yeah, he was pretty much speaking to her. Of course, Luca ended up crying and was just speaking about Grace and how you know, things are going so well and everything like that. And then he asked her, who do you think is going to get dumped, or who do you think is pretty much the least compatible couple? And she also said Elma and Sammy. Now, of course, the girl ended up returning, and then at night time the guys cooked the food and also set up like it was really cute. I won't lie, obviously Valentine's Day, so it definitely was the Valentine's theme. But around the villa, everyone was pretty much in their little dates and having conversations with one another about how things have been. There was a lot of closed off, a lot of exclusive, a lot of girlfriend and boyfriend. And I'm not really surprised, if I'm going to be honest with you. Towards the end of every season, this is usually what happens. So it's given we're wrapping up real soon. But I can't lie, my favorite babe was Catherine. That's not even being biased in terms of she's black, I'm black, whatever. No, like, guys, Catherine was looking chef's kiss. That corset, snatched her in, snatched, makeup beat, just absolutely loved it. All right. Of course, there was still a lot of chats around what the families had said when they called in earlier. Ronnie, and I only want to pick out important things that happened in this part, because, you know, there's a lot that always happens. But Ronnie asked Harriet, he was insinuating that he was going to ask Harriet to be his girlfriend, and then she was just like, no, like, you're not about to ask me that, Ronnie. Ronnie, you're literally not about to ask me that. And I was just thinking, huh? And then he was just like, why? Anyway, they ended up being closed off, or calling it closed off. She started crying a bit, and then they kissed and stuff, but I don't understand. Anyway, you guys already know how I feel about Harriet and Ronnie, and I'm going to stand by that. If you don't know, please go watch my other reviews. I'm literally going to stand by what I've said in all of those reviews. And yeah, that's that. Of course, Curtis and ekin-su as well, making it official. Catherine and Omar being closed off. Grace and Luca being closed. Like, just a lot of closed off conversations going on. Of course, mid-kiss, so while everyone was doing smoochy, Valentine, they ended up getting a text that the public have been voting. Dun, dun, dun. And the couples with the 3 fewest votes were Harriet and Ronnie, Catherine and Omar, and Elma and Sammy. Harriet instantly was just like, we're going home. It's just like, we're going home. Babe, I don't think you're going home. It definitely was going to be Elma and Sammy. But of course, the plot twist at the end was the couple that actually is getting dumped from the villa wouldn't be decided by the public, wouldn't be decided by the Love Island cast, but will be decided by those who were dumped. Yep, those who were dumped from this entire season. And that's what we're going to find out on Sunday. I'm really looking forward to that, because you know what, let me not even say Elma and Sammy can go home, because those islanders can now come in and do a whole 180, like complete 180. So I don't know, who do you guys think is going to go home? Let me know in the comments down below. Interesting plot twist, I guess. But are you trying to tell me all those people have just been chilling in South Africa since? Anyway, the weather there is nice, so I wouldn't blame them. Anyway, yeah, let me know down below, guys, who you think is going to get dumped on Sunday. But yeah, guys, that is the review for this week. I'm sorry if I've literally sped past this. I need to hurry up and just get out and get ready and do it. Yeah, so I'm really sorry that this review has been rushed, but I hope I covered all the major points. Please do not forget that we'll be going live on Sunday. Monday is allegedly the finale, so I will tell you guys on Sunday on live what we're going to do for Monday, because we might do a finale video or we might just do a live again. Who knows? I don't know, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, guys, I thank you so much for watching. Please, of course, if you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to subscribe and definitely join the family, and also be sure to follow me on my Instagram, my Twitter, and yes, also on my TikTok. But other than that, and I thank you guys so much for your love and for your support. Please do take care, stay blessed, have a lovely Valentine's, and I will see you, Sarah English, on Sunday.